Good morning, YouTubers. Tom and Julie here. Hey, there's a hawk flying right there. So we are out on the mine hunting trail once again, going up a beautiful little canyon here. It doesn't get much more scenic than that, does it? I don't think we're going to be up in the snow zone today. Probably going to be just ahead here where you see the massive trees. So there's supposed to be a mine up here, maybe an old site of a city or a town site. So let's go see what we find. We are making our way up the canyon still. Very scenic this morning. So that's to be expected. I knew I heard water somewhere. I think there's a pipeline that comes out of these hills. Here we are at the old town site. There's an awesome wall right here. And it goes back to some kind of a structure in the back end of this. Well, this is an interesting structure. Julie's going in. This is as exciting as going in a portal. Yeah. Well, this wall is pretty crazy. Still straight as an arrow. Look down this thing. That is dead straight. Alright, here we go inside. Wow. There's an old stove or oil furnace, I should say. This was a heavy-duty structure at one time. Here's a refrigerator on its back, a bed spring, of course. I don't know what that leads into. We'll have to go up there in a minute. Here's some shelving. And like a hanging place for clothing. Big windows. These walls are at least a foot thick, probably more. Then this looks like it was been a big shop or a garage or something. And back here was, in the back was the living quarters. There's a small dugout area behind this living area. I just came through that. That goes into the back of this building. Here's another house from the old city. That's how it's listed on the map as a city. Might be stretching it a little bit. This also was made from rock, the walls were. The roof is all caved in, almost all caved in. Here is the door. It's still here, still on its hinges. Otherwise everything's collapsed in. They had it nicely finished inside. It was painted at one time yellow, it looks like. Here's the front of this little house. There's a refrigerator or two laying around outside of it. Looks like this was another house next door to it. Well, we're still poking around this area. Here's another little kind of a dugout house. This back wall is only a couple feet tall. It's a shed style roof and rock walls once again. This is inside of it. Here's yet another house. All busted up. There's a fair amount of barbed wire around here. I think they may have had some animals that they kept. This roof is all broken in. Well, we were poking around and unearthed an old beer bottle. And on the bottom it's got W, F, and S. And I remember that is William, I can't remember the last name, something with an F, and Sons from Milwaukee. That's the MIL. And I believe this is 1927. It's too bad the lip is broken off it. But it's pretty neat. You can see when they used to make these bottles, they would put the lip on separately. But here you can see the striations in the glass. You would never see that on a modern bottle today. Pretty cool. Heading back to the Jeep. We will go up the road a little bit. I think there are supposed to be some mines related to this little city. Hang on. Scrape on through. Wow, it doesn't get much more scenic than this. We're getting right up against the steep part of the mountain pretty quick here. You see up there? Okay. Well, we found the source of the water, the end of the pipe here. Right where all these trees are jamming that canyon. And then up above us is a huge outcropping of quartz, it looks like. There's the Jeep, obviously. Over here's a little waste pile. And I think there's one up above it too. We'll be over there in a minute. It looks like I found a little homemade hinge here. Hand forged. You can see it was, looks like 3/16 inch steel to begin with, and then it thinned out when they made the hoop for the hinge. And you can tell by this that it's hand forged. Kind of neat. Another relic. Back where I found it. We're still cruising around the mountains here looking for some interesting mines. We found a lot of small workings so far today. Nothing real exciting though. Still fun. That's what exploring is all about. Kind of like fishing. You don't always catch them, but you have fun trying. Let me duck in here, see what we find. Oh boy. A little loose. Kind of creepy. I'm on top of the portico. Wow. Well, this is what I'm seeing. Just like when I hit those couple rocks on the outside, there's a lot of stuff that has sloughed off the back of the mine and has crushed this timbered portico. Not only that, it's wet in here and this stuff is pretty rotten. But I kind of hate to get underneath this thing. Let me look and see what we see. So this is looking back towards the portal. That's what used to be a timbered entrance to this, and it's all kind of rotted and been crushed by things that have fallen off the back of the mine, which are able to get along the edge here still. Julie's going to come in. I inspected it enough to determine that it's halfway safe for a minute in here anyway. This is the old tracks looking down the line here. Here comes Julie. Try not to touch the sides because they're kind of greasy with mud. Some interesting looking rocks in here. Okay, here we go. That entrance is kind of rough shape. But we're into a hard rock area now. Oh! Here's the echo. A little muddy and wet. Looks like there's a switch here. I hear some water dripping. There's a spur line that goes straight ahead. I don't know how far it goes. It doesn't look terribly far. Here's the right. I hear the water. I think this is quite an old mine. Really, what makes you think that? There's another junction. There's rail going both ways. This looks like it's going to stop fairly shortly here. Let me make sure. It might just be caved. This looks like it was a chute from up above. Oh yeah. Well, that's old and rotten, isn't it? Are you going to come this way or do you want to stay there?
Does he keep going?
Well, let me look just a little further and I'll let you know. I got past this caved area. Looks like it goes back to where we came from. Here comes Julie. This feels like it's going back towards the portal, but I could be slightly turned around. This is caved?
Yep. Or backfill.
Yeah, I think this is the face of this drift here. Okay, let's backtrack. Okay, this is back to this kind of an intersection. Ouch. It's a little drier anyway. A little bit. And then this is going to be the face of this one, huh? Yep, that's it. Okay, now we're back to this spot again where the water's dripping and there's a big post here in the corner. So we've been that way. We've been that way. I think there's still part we didn't go, isn't there? Right here.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Okay. Some big plates on the ground here.
Yeah.
You know, they've swollen because they're rusted. You know, as thick as they look. This looks like a rat's nest. Or is that something dead back there?
I'm not sure.
And you don't want to find
I'm
out.
gonna find out.
Well, that's the face of that one anyway, so. Well, while not real extensive, it was pretty exciting for us. Here's back to the switch.
Look at this stuff here.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Stuff gets a lot more beat up when it finds have a lot of water in them.
All right, well, that's it.
All right, we're getting out of this wet, muddy mine. All that nice timbering is ruined. Now here's the view outside of this mine. There's a huge reservoir in this area. Well, we're making our way down the mountain. It's been fun and it's been scenic, and we hope you guys enjoyed the video. Julie thanks you, I thank you, and we will see you on our next adventure.